All right. So good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Andrea Valenzuela. I'm the general manager at VRM. And I want to welcome you all to our August webinar. This month, we are really wanted to highlight one of our newest features that we've just released, which is some new exciting functionality to our guest portal. And I have Christian Hillebrand on the call with us today. I'm super excited. He is going to go through the guest portal with you guys, show you guys the new features and functionality that are there today. And really, mostly we're highlighting the ability to really give you guys the full your hands on the settings and things that you want to do. So Christian's going to go through those with us. But Christian, before we get started, do you want to just introduce yourself, tell everybody how long you've been with VRM, what you do for VRM, and then jump right in?
Absolutely. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.
My name is Christian Hillebrand. I've been at VRM for over 16 years. I am the Director of Quality Assurance here. So I basically work with the development team in order to validate and verify that what we produce in shop actually works correctly. Today, we're going to review the guest portal. And what I've done, if you can see my screen, is I've put a message that should display on everybody's admin console, which is also a link to the new guest portal and user documentation. So if you'd like to follow along with it with using the documentation, please feel free to, or download it and look at it later, whatever you prefer. But we're going to jump right in, if that's okay with you, Andrea. We'll move forward. Great. So the new guest portal is designed to allow all of our clients to have control over the configurations and some of the design concepts of it itself, and can change it at any time that they would like. Now we have what we call the owner's extranet. And remember, you don't have to move towards the guest portal. Your owner's extranet will continue to work in the same manner that it does now. This is just an option where you're going to have the control to change things on the fly if you would like, and not have to contact VRM when you want something, when you want a configuration to be changed in, or maybe a small color or a phone number update to occur. But we're going to get right into this. And the first thing you'll notice is that in the VRM application, there is a new main menu option called website. And when you click on website, that's going to open up basic website settings. That's web groups and things of this nature. And then we have the guest portal option. The guest portal option, when you open, will basically provide you the ability to come in, and the first thing we're going to look at is the contact settings. Now, we're not going to allow a lot of questions during this webinar today, but don't worry. Please just email all your questions to help@virtualresortmanager.com, and we'll be happy to respond to those. Another thing that might be, the guest portal is free of charge. If you want to move in this direction, there's no cost to it. You will send us an email saying, "Hey, we would like to migrate to the guest portal instead of the owner's extranet or guest extranet," and through that email, we will send you the URL that will be your guest portal. And at that time, you can contact your web hosting company, and you can apply that URL to either a button or menu option, whatever you prefer, okay, for your website in the guest portal. Now, on the contact settings tab, this is where you can set up all of your personal information pertaining to your company, such as your company name, the parent website. If you have a policy, a private policy address, and I'll show you where this is at. You can put the link there. I just have it linked to a surf website right now. Your address, your phone number, state, city, zip, all of that. And then basically your logo and so forth here. Now, when you go through, and the login page of the guest portal looks like this, and all of the information that's displaying is the information that you've provided and entered in here. So as you'll see, there's the phone number, the logo I added in, and then the footer number. This is your footer, and here's the private policy, which is a link. If you click on the logo itself, it will jump to whatever address that you have in this parent website address, as you'll see here. So it will jump to the website, which you would probably put your website in, so it would jump back to the home page. The private policy URL is here, and that's located in your footer. And when that's selected, it will jump to that page if you have a private policy. As I mentioned, this is just a surf website that I had linked to. So we had an example during the demo today. The big nice thing about this is that you do have control over the look and feel of this. It's stagnant, I know, because this is basically going to be the standard look for this, but you can apply your logo and then control all the colors of the header background, the menu background, footer background, and so forth. And one nice thing about this editor is that if you put your logo, if you upload your logo first and you say, okay, I want the footer background, you can click on this. And of course you have the RGB numbers, which is red, green, blue, if you have those coordinates. But what I found, which was really easy, was that I could just take this little, I guess it looks like a little pencil, and I could click on it and then go through and just pick the color that I wanted to use in the logo itself and select it. And in doing so, it automatically applied the RGB coordinates, which made the entire site match with my logo colors, which is probably what most people want to do, but everybody's different, and you can do whatever you would like when it comes to the color palette of your guest extranet. But this is where you can come through and you can set up the different colors, and you can also alter your company information for the basic settings anytime you want, okay? Once again, this is something that you can do whenever you want to, and if you don't want to, you don't have to. Like I said, once you set it up, you can leave it alone. But we're giving you control and power of your guest extranet or guest portal at this point in time. Now we're going to log into the guest portal, and we're going to use a test login that I have here already set up. Go. And this is the login page, the beginning page of your guest portal. And so with that being said, now we're going to move to the configurations tab. The configurations tab, this is where, if you look, I'm just going to scroll down, this is where you can control all of the different configurations within the guest extranet and how you want things to work. And you can alter it at any time. And we'll go through some of these. I'm not going to go through every single configuration because, as you see, we've taken a great amount of time and detail to try to provide a description for each configuration and what they do and what they do not control from the guest extranet. Now, once again, keep in mind the guest extranet and the guest portal, they still will both work. Okay, you don't have to move to the guest portal, but if you'd like to, you can. And the configurations that you change here will also update some of the guest extranet configurations as well. Another thing about the guest portal is that it is built with a responsive concept. And what that means is that regardless of how your potential guest is accessing the guest portal, the portal will reconfigure itself to have a positive user experience. That means that if I'm sitting here and I'm on my desktop, it looks one way, but if I'm using it on my phone, okay, it's going to reconfigure so that I can use this and basically have a positive user experience. And if I'm using it on a tablet, it will once again reconfigure so that the format is pleasing to the eye, ease of use, and you can basically go to your guest and you can say, we're cutting edge technology. You can use this guest portal via your phone if you'd like to, okay? So moving right along. The first thing is the message of the day. Okay, you can add a message of the day very easily. The message of the day displays right here when you first log in. Okay, of course, it's going to say, hello, Christian 1, that's my test user. And it's going to show me the following reservations. The next configurations, if I want to allow my guests to manage long-term reservations, short-term reservations, seasonal reservations, and hold reservations. And as you'll see here, I have these configurations so that if I turn one of these off, then basically that error would not display, and it will reformat to once again be a positive experience. The next thing you can now allow member updates or allow password updates. And these are pretty basic things. So if I click on the change my password, this goes through and it's where I can reset my password if I'd like to. Or if I want to basically edit my profile, I can come in here and I can edit my profile, which will edit the profile that basically is stored in your database. And then basically these are allowing for your guests to manage your short-term reservations, seasonal and long terms. The next item, oh, excuse me. The next item, and this is where it gets into the reservation details for each one, is allow res profile updates, show check-in, show directions long-term, show maps, allow modifying extras, strip HTML. This is basically when you're pulling in certain information from the VRM application. If basically it has HTML signed, it'll strip it so it doesn't display the HTML, such as paragraph blocks and or bold faced and things of this nature. And restrict extra changes within days. This basically says this many days before reservations and check-in, and we can allow you to go in and still add extras, such as guest charges and stuff. But let's take a look at each one of the details to really see. This is a short-term reservation detail, and I have everything turned on because I wanted everybody to see exactly how this looks, and also notice that you can add the maps, you can add all this information if you want to, but if you don't, you can take it off. Now, we're not going to be taking things off and adding them because there is a cache. There's sometimes if you turn something on or turn something off, it takes a couple minutes from the server to basically cache through it. And I don't really think that we want to spend our time going through that and just waiting for things to update today. But as you'll see, this is a short term, and as you'll see here, you'll notice that I do have my functionality turned on. Okay, that basically you have to sign your VRA before you can apply a payment. And that is why, as you'll see, allow VRAs, require VRA before short-term payment. And so that's why we have this message here, which is another thing that you can control yourself. Messaging throughout here, as well as naming as labels of vacation rental, these are all things now you can control with how you want things to display, such as lease agreement, rental agreement, protect your reservation, guest extra. These are the things that you can now control yourself from within the VRM application to display on the guest extra itself. So now we can go through and now let's take a look and see what it looks like when we access a seasonal reservation. So when we look at a seasonal reservation, you'll notice that a lot of the same information is pertaining to it, and you can as well change these, protect your reservation. That's what they have labeled this for, insurance. Okay. As you'll see, protect your reservations is insurance options. And we'll go through each one of these real quickly. But once again, I just want to show you the format of each one of these. And you'll see this is long-term. And I have everything turned on so that we can see it all. But once again, you might not want to. Okay. The next little section here is payments. Okay. Now, payments, this is where you can allow or disallow short-term payments, security deposit payments, seasonal payments, long-term payments, whole payments. We do have one new piece of functionality, and it's called split deposit payment. And what that means is that basically when you split the deposit payment, that's going to make, when you go through, well, let's go through and look at it. When I come in here to reservations, you'll notice that I've got it turned on, so I have to sign my rental agreement first, which everybody knows that this can be updated in the VRM application at any time. But I have to come in here and I have to sign this. There we go. And then once I do, let me also initial this. There we go. And then once I do, and check this as well. Here we are. There we are. Great. And once I do, then you'll notice that now I have my payment options here. And when we split payments, it basically allows you to make either a payment for damage deposit and or if they do have a damage deposit, and this one does not, you can make a payment on damage deposit or rent. If you decide not to split it, then what it will do is it will just provide one payment option, and then it will allocate the payment as basically it's paid. It will jump into prepay and then also drop it down. So they don't have to make two payments if they didn't want to, with regards to one to security deposit and one to rent. But let's see, if you want to require the minimum down payment, you can. Okay. If you want to require full payment, you can. That's completely up to you. These are the financials. If you basically have people that are logging in, that is an OTA and or the merchant of record online, such as a travel agent, you can turn this on. So if they log in using one of those credentials, then it will hide a lot of the details with regards to the reservation itself. Restrict payment within check-in. If you want to basically not allow somebody to apply payment to a reservation so many days before they're going to check in, this is where you can go in and you can set that configuration as well. And if you do use the alternative down payment schedule, that you can also decide if you want to turn that on or turn it off as well. And that will also display when paying rent. As you'll see, if we had it turned on, it would display up top here, but we don't have one here for this one, but still. But that's the payment methods and all the different things that they can do. If we come in, let's take a look at seasonal now. So you can see this as well. When I come in, once again, I got to sign my VRA. So I'm going to come in here and sign this. There we go. All right, we'll go back. Okay. And when I click make a payment, you can come in here, and this is where you can select the payable for the seasonal that you want. If I want to just pay one, I can do so by selecting that one. If I click on two, though, you're going to notice that it's going to basically make the end user pay the total amount of the two payables at one time. Because if it doesn't to the total amount, then we don't know how to separate that between the two payables, because we don't know if it's a 50-50 or 60-40 split. So it's just easier to make them pay. But if they want to pay one at a time, they can come in here and they can click on one and then not click on the other and basically go through in that way. So same thing with long terms as well. So if you want to come in here, you want to make a payment on a long term. Once again, I've got to sign my lease agreement. Here we go. I want to sign that real quick. Go. Now I can make a payment. And that's where I can come in here and I can make a payment as desired. So there we go. Okay. And this is where they can make a payment on one thing or two things, or whatever they want. Go from there. Alrighty, Dottie. The next thing is the insurance and security deposit waivers. This is where, once again, you can decide if you want to allow your guests to add or remove the damage insurance from the guest extranet, or add or remove the travel insurance. Most people don't allow for their guests to remove travel insurance from the guest extranet. They usually want the guests to call the vacation rental company to remove it. But once again, we want to make it flexible so that we give you the option to make that decision and what's best for your clients and your guests as well. Lock the security deposit waiver, it's been signed. Lock travel insurance, the VRA has been signed. You can restrict travel insurance and or the damage deposit waiver to be applied within so many days of the reservation checking in. But let's take a look at that and how that looks when we're looking at a short-term reservation. And they've got it set up as, oh, I guess I've already got it here. Extras. Give me a second. Let me see what do we have this like labeled as. Picture reservation. Okay, so I guess I don't have that one for there, but I knew I have it somewhere because I thought we saw it. Let's see. It's very interesting. Okay. Payments. Okay. All right. Well, we'll just come back to that later then. Okay. The next section that we can look at before as well is basically your agreements for your short-term seasonals as well as your long-terms, and whether you want to require the VRA before short-term payment, require the VRA to be signed before seasonal, require VRA for long-term. This is also where you can control basically the messaging that you want to use. That you notice when before we signed the VRA, we saw the message. This is that you can control how you want that to display, as well as you can control how you want the buttons or the labels to display with regards to a rental agreement and or lease agreement for long terms. But once again, that's up to you to how you want to review those and how you want them to display. Going through and looking at these, we can look at each one of these modules more easily. Guest extras, this is where they can come in and they can add guest charges. If you offer additional things to try to increase the revenue for your reservations, they can come in here and they can add it. Remember, you can control the number of days before they add it, that basically you say, hey, I don't want them to apply any more extras within 5 days of the reservation. Also do understand, just like the owner's extranet, you're going to get a daily log email sent to you saying, hey, this person came in and did this. This person, John, came in and made a payment. And they can come in and that's just so that you know exactly what's happening with your guest portal for your guests so that you're always on the know. So here's just, once again, the pricing details. These are all things that you can control. The guest profile, if you want to let them see this. As well as we can look at those within the seasonal stay as well. So if we want to look at the price details, You'll notice that we give a breakdown. Of course, make a payment, things of this nature, which we've already reviewed. And then we can also, let's look at long terms, just so you get to see each button. Once again, the price breakdown. Once again, this allows you to control the lease. The lease is always also set up in the VRM system, which I'm sure you're aware of. And let's see if I can find this real quick. Give me a second. I'm going to 3566. 1 second. Okay, there we go. Okay. Once again, it's going to take a second to update, but we'll get there. Okay. But in a nutshell, the biggest thing about the guest portal with regards to the with regards to, give me 1 second. There we go. Thank you. All right, let's see this. Here we are. I want to see this. I'm determined now to see protect your reservation. I wanted to show you guys this. I apologize for the misstep there. Thank you, Jonathan, for the note. Protect your reservation is where you can come in and you can basically assign your travel insurance and whatnot. And that configuration is very important to a lot of people because travel insurance is a very large revenue generator for your company as well as anything else. And as you'll see here, when we come in here, it's up here. Okay, reservation details. When we come in here, you see insurance security deposit. You can lock it if you can lock travel insurance to the VRA assigned, and that's what had happened is why it wasn't showing. Is once the travel insurance was applied to the reservation and the VRA had been signed, it locked it in place, so it wasn't going to show for them to remove it. But this is where you can come in and you can apply travel insurance and or apply damage deposit waiver. And please keep in mind as well that once you apply it, it does automatically apply to the reservation as well. But once again, because we have it set locked, it will basically go through and not allow them to go in and alter it. So just another piece of information. But in a nutshell, the guest portal is a tool that it doesn't have to replace the owner's extranet. Once again, if you would want to use the owner's extranet, that's great. It's not a problem. It's not going to break. It's still supported. But this gives you the power to control the configurations and some of the design concepts of your guest portal. And at that time, you can alter it at any time. So you can go in and you can basically change any configuration without a problem. You can basically, at a moment, if you have different seasons where you have different requirements, you can decide to manage certain things and let them manage things where you don't want them to in other times of the year. Remember, this is free of charge. All you have to do to basically have the guest portal URL sent to you is send us an email at help@virtualresortmanager.com. We will be happy to send you that URL. And at that time, you can contact your web hosting company and you can therefore apply that URL to wherever you'd like on your website and move forward with the new guest portal instead of using the owner's extranet. Well, guys, that's basically what I wanted to show you today and what I wanted to walk through. I appreciate everybody's time today. I know we're all very, very busy. Thank you, Andrea, for setting this up. And guys, once again, if you would like to move forward with the guest portal, send us an email to help@virtualresortmanager.com. We'll be happy to send you that URL and have a great day. Thank you so much for your time today. Cheers.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you, everyone. As I stated in the beginning, we will be sending out the replay. You'll get just a replay on its own in an email after this call, as well as a newsletter if you'd like to forward it to anyone in your staff. Just let us know. And if you have any questions, just send your tickets to help@vrm.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.